After watching the film Check, a lot of people have asked me, why did you produce such a depressing film? The answer, quite simply, is because it lends itself to the next topic perfectly. You might also be asking, why did you have to show the couple in bed? Isn't this a Christian film? Well, that's just it. It isn't a Christian theistic film. It's a film about a worldview that thrives on hedonistic pleasure and materialism. While we tried to adapt this idea to our audience, we also wanted to make sure that we didn't sugarcoat the concept. It's also very important to the screenwriters that we take our character from the best times to the worst times in like 6 minutes. At the same time, it's a hopeless film. It's depressing. In a lot of ways, you kind of just wonder when Check's going to end. The point we're trying to get across in this film is that there are some behaviors and there are some belief systems that focus on a very self-centered view. And when you're self-centered, you don't get to see outside yourself very much. So what we've done with Check is we've shown you a relationship from a very one-sided point of view, his. As you watch the beginning of this film, you see that our main character is wrestling with himself in the mirror. He shuts the door to the outside and begins to struggle internally. The film is a conversation inside his head, or in reality, a breakup conversation taking place in a restaurant between a man and a woman. And over the course of this conversation, he replays some of the situations that made him happy, made him uncomfortable. Things like having to live by her rules, God's rules, or anyone's rules for that matter. He brings up the fact that she mentioned marriage in front of her parents before they'd even discussed it, and the fact that hope is the biggest lie we've ever given ourselves. All this eventually leads to the breakup discussion in the restaurant where he says this is either going to end by failure or by death. And she says, "But I still love you." By saying this after everything he's just said, she expresses almost a godlike quality of unconditional love. The guy represents a self-centered lifestyle, a hopeless life, what we'll call a naturalistic worldview. From the worldview of naturalism, God doesn't even exist, but that doesn't mean that he isn't still there saying, "I love you, I want to share life with you, I want to share life's experiences with you." The naturalist says in response, "Hey, when it's convenient for me, I'll consider it, but for the time being, I'm going to live by my rules, and you don't even really exist." Some of the aspects of naturalism teach that we should live for the moment, for what will make us happy and bring us, hopefully, success. Because a lot of this looks nice on the surface, we often don't see the sad side of naturalism. We thought with Check, it would make a great story if we pulled out some of the more depressing results of this worldview. And so that's what we did.